Hi friends, this is me, Dr. Jagdish Jagtap, and I'm super excited to present this podcast to you about how to read any book within a day. I was going to do this podcast a month ago, but then I thought at first I'll practice what I'm going to preach. I finished reading an entire book in one day and completed having completed that, I'm doing this podcast. So, well, this is some information about me. First, let us focus upon the don'ts. What are the don'ts that we have to avoid? The first important don't is counting the number of pages. The moment you count the number of pages, there's a psychological clock in your head or a machine in your head which says, "Bhai beta tumse na ho payega." And the moment this is said in your mind, consider that the task has become impossible for you. So first thing first, avoid counting any pages. Secondly, avoid underlining and highlighting in the first reading. I used to do this, and many of my friends used to do this in medical school. The books used to look like this, as if someone had dipped those books into paint and taken them out. This is a waste of time and waste of precious ink also. So avoid doing this also. Thirdly, do not try to mug up in the first reading itself. You might be doing this since childhood and it doesn't help. So avoid this also. Please do not read out aloud because first thing, it hampers your speed. Second thing, it disturbs the neighboring person. But the most important thing is it hampers your reading speed. So then what are the do's? The first important do is pre-read before you read. Second is we have to the actual reading part, and the third is the rereading part. We'll deal with these three in the podcast. Now pre-reading will involve, well, this is a part of pre-reading. Like, do you really love the topic which you are going to read? And you have to use a child's definition of love. अगर आप एक छोटे बच्चे को पूछोगे कि सबसे ज़्यादा उसको प्यार कौन करता है, तो his definition is जो उसको सबसे ज़्यादा टाइम देता है, that fellow loves that child the most, or that person loves the child that most. So give that subject that much amount of time which it deserves. Now when you dedicate fixed amount of time, pure time for that activity, you have to eliminate your distractions, be it WhatsApp, be it your cell phone. Absolutely eliminate all distractions, physical and mental both. Now we have to indulge in something called as skimming. Skimming is you go through the entire book page by page, just looking at the headings and understanding as much as you can. Do not dwell too much upon any single topic. Just go through the headings. And then we have to say out aloud things which we know about that topic. ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता क्या किसी टॉपिक आप पढ़ रहे हो और उसके बारे में आपको कुछ नहीं पता है, आपको कुछ तो पता रहता है. And then you have to just recall aloud what things you know about it. Then let's come down to the actual thing, actual reading. While doing this, we have to keep a pencil or pen, anything in hand, and use that pencil or your finger as a guide to move along the lines. Like अगर आप ऐसे पढ़ रहे हो तो ऐसे ऐसे trace your reading. This really improves the reading speed. Then start making corner notes. Now these notes can be made as you're reading, but very importantly, these should be in a language which is very personal as much as possible, because this is an interaction between you and the book. It should reflect in that. अगर आप इंग्लिश में पढ़ रहे हैं और आप हिंदी भाषी है तो आप हिंदी में बनाइए, अगर आप मराठी बोलते हैं तो मराठी में लिखिए. It should convey that you are talking to that book. Then read as fast as possible using this index finger or a pencil as your guide. Please read as fast as possible, because if you do that, your mind will not digress. If you read very slowly, then you might get thoughts of becoming a billionaire, starting a new business, your past, future, present, going into outer space, and any problems which you are facing. But if you read fast, then your focus will be upon that reading material only. Now comes the most important part, like the rereading. Personally, I advise that you delay this activity for a few days. And that is because now if you delay this activity for a few days, your mind wants to make out meaning. I purposefully misspelled all these words just to show that our mind wants to extract meaning out of stuff. It doesn't like chaos. So when you have read a lot of stuff, your subconscious mind is trying to restructure the things into proper perspective. So give that subconscious brain some time, and after a few days you do the rereading part. This will involve making notes on paper, because you need to refer those notes later on. This will involve the mugging part. Now there will be some objective data which you will have to mug, but this mugging also you need not do in a traditional manner. You learn by correlating. If you want to mug something up, just correlate the fact to previous data, and then make use of all your senses. This is important because all your senses means all senses, like smell, touch, sight, sound. You make use of all of these senses to create unique situations so that you will not forget easily. Make schematics, flowcharts, cartoons, do anything required. If you do this such stuff, अगर कोई कार्टून आप बनाओगे उस टॉपिक के बारे में कोने में, तो it will stick in your mind. Now revision is really very important, because if you suppose I have read this stuff here and then after a week I don't revise, then my retention will come down to this level, and if after a month it will be so low. But if I revise, my retention will remain at optimum level. So revision is a very important task, and I cannot repeat this enough, that if you do not revise, then don't read, because anyways it is not going to be enough any use. And that's it. I hope this podcast will help you in reading better. And the book which I read in a day was Bipin Chandra's Indian Freedom Struggle, Indian National Movement. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.